What about could you elaborate in the book you talk about the importance of disrupting where stories are told. Curtis, I know
Ah,
your
yeah.
ears are going to perk up because Curtis is a recent convert to the power of storytelling. Is that telling tales out of school, Curtis?
Well, there was an example you gave that I think really hit home for me, which was the story you told when you were a kid in one of the papers you wrote. It was like the teacher came back and gave you feedback that said, "Don't tell me the person was crying. Like,
Yep.
actually, describe the tear running down their face." And those.
Very
It was
well.
like finally a light bulb came on for me that like storytelling is this art of making somebody feel something, and why the power of why really sits at the top of the marketing funnel as we put it in the framework that we have. And so, creating connections then just leads me to this authenticity, right? You can't create these connections and create these feelings and those types of things unless you're authentic. And you really have this ability to connect with whoever your reader is or watcher.
Yep. Yep. Mark, what about do you have an example of a brand that's done this really well, this storytelling and being disruptive? Or what
Yeah, well,
explain what you mean by the
so,
concept too.
yeah, you mentioned this idea of disrupting where the story is told. So I'm the kind of guy. I mean, when I write a book, I see what's the problem in the world. I mean, what are people really struggling with right now? And I'm not the kind of guy as a teacher and a consultant that's going to look at the world and say, "Oh my gosh, AI is going to, do everything that we do. Oh well, we're just going to give up." I want to look at what do we do? What are our options? Where do we thrive? And so I went out and I got to meet the greatest marketing minds in the world, just absolute acclaimed geniuses. And how do we do it? What are they doing? And there is a pattern. And the pattern is so, what is a story? A story is the narrative, is where it's told, and it's who tells it. So it's an easy framework. You just think about what is our story? How could we tell it in a completely new way? And technology can really help us these days. How could we tell it in a new place? How do we disrupt who's telling it? Because if we're the ones who are telling our own story, chances are they're not going to believe it. If they hear it at all, they're not going to believe it, right? But people believe each other. People believe their friends, their family, their neighbors. How do we create something so awesome, so cool, so worthy that people can't wait to tell other people about it? That's the marketing that works. So, McKinsey did this study a few years ago. I think they analyzed more than 200,000 customer journeys. And what they found was about two-thirds of our sales are happening without us. Two-thirds of our sales are happening because we're just listening to other people. We see something posted on social media. We're sitting at dinner and someone tells us about this exciting new product that they found or a new service that they found, or we hear it from an influencer, or we see a review, we see a testimony. So if two-thirds of our marketing is occurring without us, the best mindset today is to not have, uh, sorry, fellas, a bullhorn. It's not having the bullhorn. It's handing the bullhorn to someone else.
Hmm.
That's the best marketing today. Create the script and then hand the bullhorn to somebody else because that's what people really believe. So that's disrupting who is telling the story. So, there's lots and lots of examples. I go deeply into all these ideas in the book, but, an example of disrupting where the story was told, I start off the book with this huge challenge that I faced. I was at South by Southwest and I was having dinner with friends and all of a sudden people started leaving the restaurant. they just stood up and left their food. And my back was to the door. It's like, what the heck is going on here? There was no alarm. Everybody was calm. They just left. So I looked out the window and everybody was standing on the street. So my friends, we looked at each other and we got up. We left our hot food and cold drinks to go stand on the street. And what we saw was this drone show in the sky, this is like maybe 3 or 4 years ago. So it was a novel idea at that point, this idea of a drone show. And it was promoting a new television show with all these images. And at the end of the images, there was a huge QR code in the sky. So now people were holding up their phone, clicking on this QR code in the sky, and it goes to a trailer for the TV show.
Oh my gosh.
And I was haunted by this for weeks because I challenged myself to think, if someone came to me and said, Mark, I want to create a story so great, people would leave their food in a restaurant to go see it. Not just see it, but record it on their phones, share it all over the world. Click on a QR code to see more of it. Could I do it? And the answer was no. And I thought, is there a lesson here? Who did this? How did they come up with that idea? Are there lessons here? Is there a framework that we could teach any business to think through? And the answer to that is yes. And that's what the book is about. So you think about it, they told the story of this new show in the sky.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah,
So,
and that's really what made all the difference.
and I see your new book over your right shoulder. It's the orangish color. There's a QR code on the cover. If viewers are watching on YouTube and they take their phone and they scan that QR code, is that going to get them to the book?
No, it gets it. So here's what it gets it to. So what we did is I uploaded the book to AI, and AI is creating abstract images based on the stories in the book.
Oh, wow.
So when you hold up your phone to the book cover changes endlessly. It's an infinity cover.
Wow.
So you interact with the cover. Look, the book's called Audacious. The damn book had to be audacious, baby.
Yeah. In this case, you can judge a book by its cover. Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
First in the world. First time it's ever been done.
That's really the power
It's
of audacity.
the book that's never the same twice.
That's so cool. Curtis, now we can't never claim to be that creative in audacious, but did this whole thing sound familiar? I guess I was a little bit smarter than I give myself credit for when you came to me and you said, I'd like you to write a case study for my website. And here we are 62 episodes later, because tell that story.
Yeah, I needed content. I said, I've got some clients who have some good stories to tell. Can you write a case study for one of my clients? And maybe if that goes well, we'll do a few more. And you had the conversation with Mario and came back to me and said, look, great conversation with Mario. We were on the phone for 90 minutes. I don't know how I'm going to turn this into a 1-page case study. It seems like it's more like a, 3-chapter, maybe 4-chapter series. But what if it's not a series? What if we do something different? What if we do a podcast? And you came back with the name and everything, and you had me sold. And then I threw on
The
the
important part is that it wasn't you telling the story. We said, let's get Mario on to tell the story in his own words.
right.
For one, he's a
Yeah.
great storyteller, but B, to your point, Mark, people are willing to listen to him tell his own story. For Curtis to, tout his story about how he did wonderful things for Mario, maybe some people would have read that. I don't know. But
Yep. Yeah. It goes in hand with giving other people the bullhorn. And the other more recent story is somebody who is actually not a lurker, but actually comments on a lot of our podcasts, watches, is actually a vendor of mine, had a colleague of his that he used to work with reach out to him and say, I need help. I'm at this professional services company. I need help with lead gen. And, who would do you know anyone? Would you recommend anyone? And he says, well, yeah, actually, watch these guys, watch this podcast. And so he consumed about 3 episodes, came back to his colleague and said, yeah, I watched a couple episodes. They're interesting, but are you sure they're going to be able to solve my problem? And he's like, yep. Gave him the confidence, gave him the endorsement, and called me up. Here, we talked the other day, and he's got board approval and $25 million company that's ready to get going. Now, I don't know, Mark, if they're ready to be audacious. I think they're trying to play it safe right now, and we need to push them away from playing it safe. But it can definitely work. I mean, we've got to get behind, just being real and being authentic and trying to connect with people
Yeah.
in a different way.
Sometimes you have to give the customer what they want, earn their trust, and then give them what they need
Right.
to really blow things up, right?